Hi, everybody. My name is Ali. I'm a grateful alcoholic. I don't know about that one. I think the 12th tradition keeps me from seeking that kind of fame and fortune, Alcoholics Anonymous, because I'll drink like that. Just another bozo on the bus, trying the best that I can. And I think everyone here is. I'm not calling you guys bozos. That's all this is saying. I like that. I like that. First of all, welcome to the last session. And I want to I'll say this stuff at the end, but just very grateful for everybody, for the team, for everybody attending. We'll just do some housekeeping, quick housekeeping. We'll dive into the pages that we have to cover. So there's not that many. Maybe it'll take us 20 minutes to do that, maybe. And then the rest of the session up to 11:30 Eastern time, I would like to devote to just sharing of experiences. First and foremost, those brothers and sisters on the path that during this workshop sessions, they have had the opportunity to use this framework and just experiences of how it's been. And then perhaps just your experience with the workshop, if you wanted to share that. And then we'll leave the questions to a little bit later. And then after 11:30 Eastern time, where a lot of time for our session, what I'll do is I gotta get in the car, drive to another AA event. So as always, I'll hand the host duties to Mickey, and then I'll be on my phone to answer any questions for the hour, 2-hour ride. Okay, so I'll be with you guys as long as you need me to be with you. Okay, can we get somebody who's moved to come up and please say the set aside, pray the set aside prayer for us, so we can all be empty cups. Anyone that's moved to? All right, I guess I will for the last session because no one's put up their hand. Okay. Oh, Michelle, there you go. Michelle's waving. Michelle, you know by now it's got to be electronic. I can't see you among 150 people. Come on. All right, come on, Michelle.
I couldn't figure out where it was. Sorry. Having one of those days. Okay. Set aside prayer. God, please set aside everything I think I know for an open mind, a new experience, everything I think I know about the big book, Alcoholics Anonymous, myself, and most importantly, you, God, to set aside everything to let your lights shine in. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Michelle. All right. So couple of quick things before we get going. One is I just like to share with you guys just quickly, sort of like off topic, our Fellowship of the Spirit Toronto in-person conference is coming up June 7 and 8. I know it's usually in June, but this year just the venue changed its dates on us. So we've happened to fall on Founders Day weekend. So, you know, but if you guys haven't registered, we'd love to see this weekend. I know some friends are. And we'd love to see you guys. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Just all your registration, hotel information. If you just go to www.fots.to, not .ca, not .com, .to, as in Toronto, fots.to. Thank you very much. I'll stop sharing that. And then relating to what we're doing here, some friends have asked me just as a review, basically, let's see, what is this? I hope this is the right one. Here we go. Okay, so we are now, I hope everybody on our email list, we've been emailing it out to everybody. I hope you all got the directions to accompany this, the workshop, exactly, you know, what to do, where to go, especially at the beginning. It's important we could jump around in order for us to be efficient and laser-like. The 50-something pages of step 1 chapters, we just condensed it, right? And step 2 chapter, we condensed it. And so just so you know, so today, 23, passing this message on, chapter 7, it says could take 1 to 4 sessions. We did in a couple of sessions, right? And then so after this, really up to you, okay? The way I do it, the way I do it with the men that I sponsor, after this session, we continue to meet once a week. We've been meeting once a week, you know, at the beginning more than once a week till they get to inventory and finish inventory, and then it's once a week. And every week at the beginning, it's a little bit about the amends that they've attempted, plan of action for the amends they're going to attempt, the approaches they're going to attempt, and then we continue in the big book, right? So we're going to continue doing the same thing. And then see, I go back because at the beginning, we skipped all of this stuff. go back to the preface and all the forwards that's covered, right? And anyone can easily read that and highlight what jumps at you, right? Bill's story, we skipped it. We're going to do that. We cover what we missed and there's a solution. We covered what we missed and more about alcoholism. It's a beautiful step 1 chapter that we just sort of distilled a few pages out of it to make it more efficient. And we cover what we missed in We Agnostics. And then the practicing principles in our affairs chapters, some people think of it that way, which is 8, 9, and 10. To the wives, to the employers, and the family afterwards. Basically practicing principles in our affairs, 3 sessions. So, sorry, 3 chapters. And then after a vision for you, and let me see, was that there? Oh, here we go. And then I also like to cover Dr. Bob's story after first 164, just because, he's a co-founder. With Bill's story was covered in the first 164. So we covered Dr. Bob's story together. And then after that, I jumped to the traditions in the 12 and 12. That's the way I do it. Doesn't mean everyone else has to do it like that. If all anyone did was up to what we do today, that's more than enough. That's more than enough because there'll be so many other big book studies that people can go to and reread what we missed. I found one of the benefits of going back and covering this stuff that we missed is that I get to continue to walk with the person and we get to continue to build a relationship together. It's a sponsorship relationship to me is such a sacred spiritual gift. Sponsorship is such a gift for me, to deepen that relationship. Okay, I wasn't going to talk about that. I was going to talk about it at the end, but it's coming now, so I'll talk about it now. So continuing to walk with somebody, doing a once a week big book session and all that kind of stuff allows me to be in someone's life, allows them to be in my life. Because what I have found through the years of a lot of big book studies, a lot of passing this message on, and I've had sponsors and I've been a sponsor who keeps people at arm's length. I'm not saying this is everybody's assignment. I'm just sharing mine, okay? And what I have found is that I am more effective, a lot more effective, and this path is a lot more enjoyable when, how do I put this? I've had some powerful messengers and teachers on my path. They've all gifted me. God uses them to gift me in beautiful ways. The one messenger who's my sponsor now, Butch, for the last 8 years, Butch Maslin from Ontario, Canada. What Butch did for me was show me a side of sponsorship that I've never experienced before. Butch brought me all the way in and introduced me to the love story of Alcoholics Anonymous. What Butch does is Butch lives this program with loving kindness all the time. He included me in his life. He's included in my life. We have a loving relationship together. Butch showed me that these words in this book, in this couple-inch thick book, through demonstration, he's shown me that if they don't jump off the page, and if I'm not filled with the spirit of what I'm doing here, that I'm missing out, man. There is so much more to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm just talking my experience, okay? There's so much more to sponsorship and passing this message on than taking someone to the book and highlighting. It's just been my experience. When I pass this message on with the understanding, with the knowing that the men that God puts in my path are not my agenda to keep sober or to run their lives and their paths. They are actually God's gift to me. God's gift to me for me to stay sober and for me to grow closer to him, for me to fulfill my deal with him, to be a better servant, better human being. So when a sponsee calls, that's God calling. I have grown so much, so much in effectiveness because I've been taught the last few years that this beautiful dish, beautiful spiritual meal that we all get to dine, for those listening to a recording, I'm playing with the big book right now, right? It's got to be served in a beautiful dish of kindness and not rigidity. Anybody can highlight words, right? And have a very surface-like experience out of this book. Anybody. We know a bunch of friends like that. I used to be one. Everybody's doing it wrong. I'm the only one doing it right. How dare you? Da, 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 da. Right? It's easy to be programmed by the words of this book, but the word killeth and the spirit giveth life. It's a different story. Different story. When I allow with a humble spirit, God, I have no idea what I'm doing, man. I just want to serve you better, just be a little better servant today than I was yesterday. Can you show me what my assignment is? That's a different story. That's a different walk. That's a Chuck Chamberlain kind of walk. That's a Don Pritz kind of walk. That's a Bill Wilson kind of walk. That's a Dr. Bob Smith kind of walk. Not Ali, 2 years sober, thinking the big book was invented when he came into Alcoholics Anonymous, a 12 stomping people kind of walk. But I did the best I could. That's okay. I'm sort of joking around. I did the best I could, and that's okay, because if I wasn't there, I would never be here. It's all sacred. All of it is sacred, you know? So I think this went longer preamble than I was planning, like usual, but I think if there's one thing out of everything, because let's not get married to methodology. Okay, there's one framework. I hope it works for you. It has for me. I've seen it work miracles for a lot of people, right? But let's just say, but let's not get married to methodology, right? But if it's one thing out of these 15 weeks that I hope and pray that has flowed from my spirit into your beautiful spirit, is this: love in service, kindness. That's it. Because at the end of the day, all we're doing is walking each other home, right? What do we do? I'm here to prove to you that the fourth step I do is better than yours. Is that what do I do? Right? We're just walking each other home anyways. You know where I'm going after this? I'm going to I'm driving 2 hours to another city to go to a celebration of love of an AA member. I'm not divulging anything he hasn't. He already shared it with everybody on the audience and Facebook that he wanted to. AA member, 30 plus years sober, beautiful walk, humble walk. What a seeker. 40 years of progressive pain and pain and pain and pain due to some back injury, going through many doctors, many solutions, nothing has worked. It's gone so bad. 2-3 years of interviews with doctors, assisted dying at the end of May. We have that in Canada. Talking with his sponsor, doing all that stuff. I'm going to a celebration of life. He's dying at the end of May. That's what I'm doing. That's Alcoholics Anonymous. He's Alcoholics Anonymous. Not what I know in this book, man. You know, if there's one thing, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. The rest, man, God doesn't make too hard terms. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be with you guys. Thank you for the beautiful team that we have. Thank you for all the attendees. I appreciate you guys. As I said earlier, as I've said, I think a few times, this is an honor and a privilege. I'm not doing anyone a favor. This was an assignment which I didn't want to do, but it was calling me. And I'm so glad that I answered the call, because I've grown so much as a human being. You know, I'm not doing anyone a favor. I know you guys have been gracious and thanking. You guys have done me a favor. God has done me a favor. All right, let's get to it now. Thank you. That was perfect. Okay, let's get to. I think we're at page because I want to leave some room for sharing and stuff like that. And we were at page, Mickey, can you tell me exactly what page we finished, please?
98 on the last paragraph on the page.
98, beautiful. Okay.
You have a domestic problem.
Thank you very much. Okay. So let's just zip through this. Now the domestic problem. The paragraph before, I just want to, no, the two paragraphs before, I want to read that to sort of set the mood a little bit, okay? It is not the matter of giving that is in question, but when and how to give. We've already done that last week. That often makes the difference between failure and success. The minute we put our work on a service plane, the alcoholic commences to rely upon our assistant rather than upon God. He clamors for this and that, claiming that he cannot master alcohol until his material needs are cared for. Nonsense. Some of us have taken very hard knocks to learn this truth. Job or no job, wife or no wife. We simply do not drinking so long as we place dependence upon other people ahead of dependence upon God. So I'm passing this to a new person, right? You know where that meets me? Whatever situation in life that I'm having trouble with, I certainly will not get past that so long as I place dependence upon people ahead of dependence upon God. Okay. Burn the idea into the consciousness of every man that he can get well regardless of anyone. And this is the last highlight that we did last week. The only condition is that he trusts God and clean house. Beautiful. Okay. Now the domestic problem. Please circle that. Now the domestic problem. Please circle that. Okay. There may be divorce, separation, or just strained relations. When your prospect has made such reparation as he can to his family and has thoroughly explained to them the new principles by which he's living, he should proceed to put those principles into action at home. That is, if he's still lucky enough to have a home. Though his family be at fault in many respects, he should not be concerned about that. Grab the yellow highlighter, please, important. He should concentrate on his own spiritual demonstration. One more yellow. Argument and fault finding are to be avoided like the plague. Okay, those two sentences yellow, from he should concentrate to avoided like the plague. No more yellow. In many homes, this is a difficult thing to do. Grab the pink, please. Promises. For the rest of the paragraph from but it must be done in pink, promises. Okay? But it must be done if any results are to be expected. It persisted in for a few months. The effect on a man's family is sure to be great. This all in pink. The most incompatible people discover they have a basis upon which they can meet. Little by little, the family may see their own defects and admit them. These can then be discussed in an atmosphere of helpfulness and friendliness. All promises, all pink. Okay, no more pink. After they have seen tangible results, the family will perhaps want to go along. Grab the pink now, promise again. These things will come to pass naturally and in good time, just up to time. In pink, these things will come to pass naturally and in good time, just up to time, please. Highlight time in pink. Grab the yellow highlighter because we want to make it stand out. The rest of the paragraph in yellow. It's important. Provided, however, the alcoholic continues to demonstrate that he can be sober, considerate, and helpful regardless of what anyone says or does. Of course, we all fall much below this standard many times, but we must try to repair the damage immediately, lest we pay the penalty by a spree. Okay? So we all have tons of experience like that. We're not going to just, unpack this too much. Pretty self-explanatory. Usually with a new man, I share a couple of experiences, maybe ask a couple of theirs, and then we move forward. Okay. I love it how it says it's just like the bar is always set so low for me. God just doesn't make too hard terms. You know what I mean? Like these are the promises, but we all fall short of that. Don't you worry. I can make mistakes. The point is that I try to clean it up. I try to be a better person. And that seems to be the theme. If I don't have a desire to be a better person through cleaning it up, through the actions that we take in these steps, when I fumble and stumble, the penalty is a drink. But before a drink, the penalty is the destruction of everything worthwhile in life, from relationships to opportunities to peace of mind to sleep to serenity. I cannot get away with much. The traditions tell me so. There's no need to be a policeman or woman in Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcohol is a policeman in Alcoholics Anonymous, right? My job is to be the light. I need to clean house, to be the light just like you have been for me. Because you loved me when I was unlovable, whether I was in and out or whether I was big book in hand, 12 stomping pool. You loved me when I was unlovable. So thank you for that. So that's my assignment now moving forward. No? Okay, so a little bit off topic. So next paragraph, no yellow. If there be divorce or separation, there should be no undue haste for the couple to get together. The man should be sure of his recovery. The wife should fully understand his new way of life. If their old relationship is to be resumed, it must be on a better basis since the former did not work. This means a new attitude and spirit all around. Sometimes it is to the best interest of all concerned that a couple remain apart. Obviously, no rule can be laid down. Let the alcoholic continue his program day by day. When the time for living together has come, it will be apparent to both parties. Okay, so again, sort of like an extension of the sex inventory pages where they talk about, you know, we are not to be the arbiter of anyone's sex conduct, and I'm also not to be the arbiter of anyone's relationships, right? I'm not to tell anyone to stay together, not stay together, all that kind of stuff. They give us some general suggestions here, though, right? Why just maybe wait a bit till you're on better spiritual footing before praying and considering getting back together, you know, but none of my business. That's really up to the person and the significant other and God and, you know, and the step work that we do, what is revealed. Right? Let no alcoholic say he cannot recover unless he has his family back. This just isn't so. In some cases, the wife or husband will never come back for one reason or another. In yellow, please, here's the gem right here. Here's the real gem. In yellow, remind the prospect that his or her recovery is not dependent, continuing yellow, upon people. Continuing yellow, next sentence, it is dependent upon his relationship with God. It is dependent upon his relationship with God. And in the same theme in this, yellow is important, but certain highlights, they are so super important in my heart, my experience, that please put an asterisk on the right side and the left margin of that top of page 100, that it is dependent upon his relationship with God. By the way, God doesn't keep me sober. My relationship with God keeps me sober. There's a universal difference between the two. We will talk about that towards the end. Okay. No more yellow. We have seen men get well whose families have not returned at all. We have seen others slip when the family gets back too soon, and we all have examples of that. So for the sake of time, we're going to move forward. Oh, one of my most favorite paragraphs. God bless his soul. Charlie Parker used to say that's his favorite paragraph in this big book. If you grab the yellow, please. Both you and the new man or woman must walk day by day on the path of spiritual progress. That's in yellow, please. Okay, circle the word must in the first line there. Remember, there's many musts in this book. In this book of spiritual suggestions, there's many musts as well. Okay? Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. If you grab the pink, highlight the rest of the paragraph in pink. Okay? If you persist, remarkable things will happen. When we look back, we realize that the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything we could have planned. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances. That's all I'm thinking. One of the most beautiful paragraphs in this book. This paragraph, for me, it summarizes this program, what my purpose in life is, and what the results of me trying to live that purpose will be in my life, or in my life will continue to be in my life. So what's my purpose in this life? What's my the big book talks about earlier somewhere, Spirit writes through Bill Wilson, our main purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us, right? Every step, as we talked about in the past, a few sessions, every step eventually leads to the 12th step, the purpose of my life, the purpose of my life. I do everything to be a better servant, to help other alcoholics, and to practice principles of my affairs a little bit better. So it says, both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. Both me and the new man. Spiritual progress. Not just the new man, spiritual progress. Me too. I'm walking on this path too. Shoulder to shoulder. I'm trying to improve too. Okay. Now look what it says. We've got it highlighted in pink. If you persist, if I persist what? If I persist just praying and meditating, just writing inventory, just going to meetings? No, all those things are important in order to walk with a new person in the path of spiritual progress. If I persist trying to pass this message on, walking with a new person, these promises come true in my life. Remarkable things will happen. When I look back, I realize that the things that came to me when I put myself when I put these plans in God's hands, as I'm trying to help his kids, right? Turn out better than anything I could imagine. That's a story of my life. And I'm sure many people could also attest to that. From the cancers and the depressions and the separations, close to divorces and the financial insecurities, all the stuff in recovery. Every single thing that I put in God's hands and I'm trying to help his kids, fumbling, stumbling, has turned out better than anything I could have planned. Anything. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your personal circumstances are. There's a lot of stuff about my personal circumstances that I could tell you guys the facts on the ground are not looking so good. But you know what? More days than not, I live in a beautiful, wonderful world. In the now, in the present moment where God is, as a result of trying to fulfill my promise to this power. Because I have recovered and been given the power to help others. Don't have to do it perfectly. I just got to try. That's why this workshop, I believe, has been so powerful. Nothing to do with the facilitator, even though you guys are kind enough to say it. Partly, no. It has to do with the subject matter. It has to do with seekers wanting to be better messengers. Something happens when that happens, you know, when we get together like that. All right, next paragraph. In yellow, when working with a man and his family, you should take care not to participate with their quarrels. You may spoil your chance of being helpful if you do. That's so important, right? That's so important. I never take sides or get involved in that way. They're going to give me some more instructions of what to do. It's just so self-explanatory, so beautiful. Okay. So last, the yellow we did is you may spoil your chance of being helpful if you do. And then no more yellow, but urge upon a man's family that he has been a very sick person and should be treated accordingly. You should warn against arousing resentment or jealousy. You should point out that his defects of character are not going to disappear overnight. Show them that he has entered upon a period of growth. Ask them to remember when they are impatient the blessed fact of his sobriety, right? And there's a few other chapters after this, family afterwards to the wives, that give some other great suggestions, right? Al-Anon is another great program that. If you have been successful in solving your own domestic problems, tell the newcomer's family how that was accomplished. In this way, you can set them on the right track without becoming critical of them. The story of how you and your wife settled your difficulties is worth any amount of criticism. And that's so important. That's so important. Okay. When I share, just like this program, when I share from my heart of that experience and what spiritual principles have done, it is so much more impactful and powerful than when I tell somebody what to do, especially when I haven't had that experience myself, right? Especially when I haven't. And so I'm of the belief system that if I don't have a specific experience in life, and a new person or a sponsee is going through that, I can certainly help with the spiritual principles of writing inventories and praying, meditating, and see what God, all that kind of stuff. Eventually, I'm also pointing them to another member of Alcoholics Anonymous that has had that trouble and has used spiritual principles. God is taking them through it, right? It's just so much more powerful. This book is just words until I pour my experience in it, and then it starts to become alive. And then starts to become 3D, right? Otherwise, just words. Otherwise, just words. Perfect. Okay. Okay, let's move forward. In yellow, please. Assuming we are spiritually fit, Circle spiritually fit with pen as well, please. Circle spiritually fit with pen as well, please. In yellow now, assuming we're spiritually fit, we can do all sorts of things alcoholics are not supposed to do. Continue in yellow. People have said we must, no, sorry, don't do that. Oh, I made a mistake over there. Okay, just up to, assuming we're spiritually fit, we can do all sorts of things alcoholics are not supposed to do. Okay, so just leave it there. So I made a mistake there. Okay. So, no more yellow. People have said we must not go where liquor is served. We must not have it in our homes. We must shun friends who drink. We must avoid moving pictures which show drinking scenes. We must not go into bars. Our friends must hide their bottles if we go to their houses. We mustn't think or be reminded about alcohol at all. In yellow, important. Our experience shows this is not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. Okay, next paragraph, we're not highlighting anything. We meet these conditions every day. An alcoholic who cannot meet them still has an alcoholic mind. There is something the matter with his spiritual status. His only chance of sobriety could be someplace like the Greenland ice cap, and even there, an Eskimo might turn up with a bottle of scotch and ruin everything. Ask any woman who has sent her husband to distant places on the theory he would escape the alcohol problem. And in our belief, in any scheme of combating alcoholism, which proposes to shield the sick man from temptation, is doomed to failure. If the alcoholic tries to shield himself, he may succeed it for a time, but he usually winds up with a bigger explosion than ever. We have tried these methods. These attempts to do the impossible has always failed. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory, but here's the thing. Spirituality is not stupidity. I have common sense as well, right? So when someone is new, right? It's okay not to go to bars because friends have birthday parties. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's okay to not to have it at the house, in my home, if someone feels that, you know. So there's some common sense that has to be used as well, right? To each their own. What does God? What's the assignment for you? How does this show up in your life, right? And I usually use my sponsor. I've always listened to a sponsor, prayer, and meditation. Okay? Because I know people, newcomers, very newcomers, on fire with the big book, right? Not on fire, beautiful, with the big book 3-4 months in, and taking this so literal that they think then that means I'm not spiritually fit and I have an alcoholic mind if I can't go to the bar every week with my friends and hang out. No, man, no, that's not what it's saying, right? What is the spirit of what it's saying? Okay, let's just keep that in mind. Common sense. Is spirituality is practical, actually, very practical. Okay, so now in that paragraph, the last paragraph we read where it says, in our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which proposes to shield the man from temptation is doomed to failure. From that paragraph, please put a little line and an arrow to the right margin. Please turn the book counterclockwise so the right margin is facing you. So just sort of write along the right margin. Please write, for example, comma, long-term treatment, comma, and I'll explain that. I'm not putting down treatment centers at all. I'll explain that. Long-term treatment, comma, geographical cures, comma, etc. So there's a lot of different examples of how we shield the alcoholic from temptation. It doesn't work, right? Long-term treatment, comma, geographical cures, comma, etc. Or ... So, for example, long-term treatment centers. Sometimes people, I know people that go to 6 months or 1 year treatment center thinking they've been away from alcohol, dry for a year and learned a few things, and then they could come and just not follow this sobriety with the program. That's what I mean, right? Long-term treatment by itself, it doesn't, right? Or geographical cures. Like I think people, places, and things. Absolutely, when I'm new, common sense tells me people, places, and things, right? Stay away from people, places, and things that are about that kind of lifestyle, right? But if I think, like, I changed friends, I moved to different cities. My father sent me to Dubai in 2006 or 7. He had multi-millionaire friends that were building buildings over there. Went over there, and drank everything to the ground. Drank everything to the ground. These guys put me on a plane, put me back. A year and a half later, sent me back. I ruined everything, right? I went back home to Iran for about 3 months. None of that seems to work, right? Because I take the disease inside of me. It follows me. It follows me, right? So that's why these things, geographical cures, don't, and by themselves, don't work. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to the big book. In yellow, please. So our rule is not to avoid a place where there is drinking if we have a legitimate reason for being there. That's in yellow. Okay. We're going to read a bit and then we're going to and it'll come together exactly what they're talking about. In yellow, so our rule is not to avoid a place where there is drinking if we have a legitimate reason for being there. End of yellow. No more yellow. That includes bars, nightclubs, dances, receptions, weddings, and even plain ordinary whoopee parties. I've read this book, I don't know how many thousands of times the last few years, you know what I mean? Every single time. Ordinary whoopee party, something inside me wants to giggle like a little girl. Whoopee parties, all right, okay. To a person who has had experience with an alcoholic, this may seem like tempting providence, but it isn't. You will note that we made an important qualification. Therefore, grab the yellow highlighter, ask yourself on each occasion, have I any social, business, or personal reason for going to this place? Ask yourself on each occasion, have I any good social, business, or personal reason for going to this place? No more yellow. Or am I expecting to steal a little vicarious pleasure from the atmosphere of such places? If you answer these questions satisfactorily, you need have no apprehension. Go or stay away, whichever seems best. Grab the yellow highlighter now. They're going to repeat that same theme, same suggestion. But be sure you're on solid spiritual ground before you start and that your motives in going are thoroughly good. That's in yellow. Okay, so when I was new, and to this day, if something big's happening in my life, but especially when I was newer, right? Or with a new man, what I suggest to them is, if I'm going to go to a place that is going to be drinking, the big book is pretty clear. It doesn't tell me I can never go, right? Gives me sort of two things to consider. One, do you have a good reason for going there? Are you just going to go hang out because you're hanging out weekly in a bar with friends, or is that one of your best friends' birthday parties in a bar? There's a difference, right? Are you going to a wedding? Are you going, right? And okay, yeah, good enough reason, I guess, right? And then second one is, are you spiritually fit? And guess what? Both of them, I'm running by a sponsor because I don't see myself properly. I'm asking someone else because I want to make sure, right? Is it a good enough reason, do you think? Okay, am I spiritually fit? Am I spiritually fit? Okay. And then my motives are good. Perfect. No more yellow. Do not think of what you will get out of the occasion. Think of what you can bring to it. In yellow now, but if you are shaky, you had better work with another alcoholic instead. That seems to be the solution to all my problems. Okay? But if you are shaky, you had better work with another alcoholic instead. I don't know, it could be someone has years of sobriety and really deep in this path. They're just going through a really rough patch in their life. Maybe somebody they love has passed away. They're going through some grief and they were invited, I don't know, invited to a celebration of something after a few months of grief. And, you know, maybe they're like, okay, why not just go and just try to, you know, I don't know. That's between them and God and their sponsor. Perhaps at that time, if you feel like you're not spiritually fit, perhaps going to that place is not the best thing to do, right? But that kind of thing, that there's no cookie cutter. I better help someone else, okay? No more yellow. Why sit with a long face? And if you decide to go, why sit with a long face in places where there is drinking, sighing about the good old days? If it is a happy occasion, try to increase the pleasure to those there. If a business occasion, go and attend to your business enthusiastically. If you are with a person who wants to eat in a bar, by all means go along. Let your friends know they are not to change their habits on your account. At a proper time and place, explain to all your friends why alcohol disagrees with you. If you do this thoroughly, few people will ask you to drink. While you were drinking, you were withdrawing from life little by little. Now, you are getting back to the social life of this world. Don't start to withdraw again just because your friends drink liquor. All self-explanatory, all beautiful. Okay, next paragraph, yellow, please. Your job now is to be at a place where you may be of maximum helpfulness to others, so never hesitate to go anywhere where it can be helpful. That's in yellow. Huge. The theme of this path, the purpose of my life, of this life. Your job now is to be at a place where you may be of maximum helpfulness to others, so never hesitate to go anywhere where if you can be helpful. And it's one of those super important themes, so put an asterisk on either side of the right and the left margin where you've highlighted this yellow. Helpfulness, usefulness, right? Like I've gone to put meetings on or visit people in shelters in some of the sordid areas of downtown Toronto, and the dark drug deals going on, and it's just a big book in hand, prayer, and I've gone, man, no one's ever batted an eye with me. No one looked at me sideways. I looked at the ground anyways as I walked through, right? Never had any trouble. Never had any trouble. But there's many examples that you guys can give as well, right? I've gone to weddings where I wasn't sure, but I prayed and meditated, talked to my sponsor, okay, go. Like it wasn't a close friend, right? I've gone, and I ended up 12-stepping people on the table that I sit. You just never know. You just never know, right? Okay, so no more yellow. You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid place on earth on such an errand. In pink now, promise. Keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. So specifically, they're talking about visiting sordid places, all that kind of stuff. Maybe literally sordid places, but where this lands on my heart is figuratively as well. I got to keep on the firing line of life with the motives of helping God's kids and passing this message on, and God will keep me unharmed. God will keep me unharmed. Keep on the firing line of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, no more highlighting. We're almost there. Many of us keep liquor in our homes. We often need it to carry green recluse through a severe hangover. By the way, so one of the most dangerous drugs, alcohol is a drug, it's just legal. One of the most dangerous drugs to detox off of is alcohol. One of the most dangerous. That's why they have it. Some people have it in their homes. That's why they used to have it in the early days, right? To slowly take them off, or else the guy could go into seizure, right? But these days we have hospitals and they do a better job, right? So just say it. Okay? Some of us still serve it to our friends, provided they are not alcoholics. But some of us think we should not serve liquor to anyone. We never argue this question. We feel that each family, in the light of their own circumstances, ought to decide for themselves. We are careful never to show intolerance or hatred of drinking as an institution. Experience shows that such an attitude is not helpful to anyone. Every new alcoholic looks for the spirit among us and is immensely relieved when we find that we are not witch burners. So stop right there. Afsi and I, we used to just have it in the home right from the beginning. Wine and beers because our family members, right? We used to throw family parties, just our families. And then a couple of family members, they drink a lot. They drink like, let's say, hard drinkers, right? And then after a while, we just made a decision that we don't want to be around that. So we made a decision, no more hard liquor. If you're going to drink, you drink your own, you bring your wine, but we're not going to drink like that in our home. We made a decision, but we don't have it anymore. We don't have it anymore. Actually, until a couple of months ago, Grandma, Afsi, I call her Grandma because Darius calls her Grandma to Afsi's mom that lives with us. Afsi's mom, she loves to drink once in a while. She gets in these moods. She goes months and she has one Stella at night, every night. So we have it in the house because of her, right? But we made a decision not to, for the most part, not to have. But to each family their own, as it says. Okay, so we ended up at witch burners, okay? So highlighting yellow, please. A spirit of intolerance, it's in the middle of the paragraph, a spirit of intolerance might repel alcoholics whose lives could have been saved. Just highlight out to save. Highlight out to save, right? A spirit of intolerance might repel alcoholics whose lives might have been saved. Highlight that could have been saved. No more highlight. The sentence continues. had it not been for such stupidity, right? The stupidity that I sometimes exhibit, not so much these days, thank God, once in a while, that it has to be this way because it's what's like this for me, and that's my idea, that's the only way, right? I got sober now, and how dare you? No. Okay, we would not even do the cause of temperate drinking any good, for not one drink in a thousand likes to be told anything about alcohol by one who hates it. Someday we hope that alcoholics, now obviously this chapter is really geared towards a prospect and a new person, right? Just sometimes, okay, anyways. So someday we hope that Alcoholics Anonymous will help the public to a better realization of the gravity of the alcoholic problem. Comma, grab the yellow. But we shall be of little use, because that's what I'm looking for, usefulness. We shall be of little use if our attitude is one of bitterness and hostility. Drinkers will not stand for it. That's in yellow. That's in yellow. Okay, and the final paragraph in the solution portion of the big book, after this is stories, right? Highlighted in yellow, please. After all, our problems were of our own making. Bottles were but only a symbol. Besides, we have stopped fighting anybody or anything. We have to. All that is in yellow. What a beautiful, beautiful summary of this beautiful path. Please put an asterisk on either side of that yellow that you did. That's another one of those super important themes, right? Alcohol is only a symbol. I have stopped, and I'm trying, continue to get better at that, fighting anything or anybody. I have to. My problem is not on the outside. It seems like it is. It seems like it is. My problem is on the inside. And my solution is complete acceptance of the present moment, with the desire to serve the moment. Acceptance of the moment with the desire to serve the moment. That's what the steps continue to help me do. Because that's where God relies. In this moment right now, in this conversation, in this breath, there is no other time. There is no future. It's an illusion. It's all now, you know? Like if we count 3 seconds into the future, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm still in the now. There's no past. All there is now. And what these 12 steps as a way of life have made me present to is that gift of the now. May you find him now, the big book says. God bless you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to put my number in the chat one more time in case people don't have it. Anytime, anything, especially if any questions regarding pass this message on with this framework, you know, I'm here. Please forgive me if I don't get back to you right away, but you're never bothering me, so don't worry about that. It's God's gift to me when he sends his kids, so I can grow, so I can learn. Okay, and then and also just one more thing. I don't know why it came to me to say. Certainly, please don't get married to this framework. It's not the only way. It's just one way that seems to work for me in my experience and many others that I have seen, you know. Just one thing that I do sort of suggest is that as you're moving forward, I found please try to refrain from complicating it. You know, it's simple for a reason. It's simple for a reason. Okay, just I'm sorry that came across. I didn't mean it that way. What I meant is I've had some friends in the past. They add a whole bunch of stuff to the step 1 chapters that we've done. It goes back to inefficiency again. Right? It's so simple. It's so simple. God bless you guys. Love you guys. So I'm gonna what we're gonna do now is. For the remainder, so it's 10:45 Eastern time. Until half past the next hour, I will love to hear from you guys. I'm going to keep recording. I love to hear from friends that in the last 15 weeks have had the opportunity to use this framework and share any experiences you want. One and second group of friends, friends that want to share about if they got what they got from this from this workshop in the last 15 weeks. And then if you have any questions, unless you feel like super urgent to ask now, otherwise I would ask that you save your question for afterwards, because I'm going to jump in the car and then I'm going to be with you guys for about 2 hours. So everyone wants to stay on to answer any questions. Okay. God bless you guys. Love you guys. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Valerie, actually, you know what? Let me stop. No. Okay. Valerie, come on up, please.
Hi, Ali. Valerie, alcoholic. You were going to stop the recording and now I get to be on it. Sorry. I am an alcoholic and I have the honor and privilege of serving others and being overpaid with a 12-step. I want to thank you, Ali, for being a messenger and for being a channel. This has been so changed how I work with others. I currently have someone who is on fire as a result of this, who has been in and out for a long time and is finally understanding what surrender really means. And I'm so grateful to see it. I'm so excited to see it. And I just wanted to share that with you. And thank you so much, everyone on the team, for this.
Beautiful. Thank you, Valerie. Barb, come on up, please.
Hi, Barb Alcoholic. Hi. Thanks again, Ali. Yeah, I just wanted to mention there are a few of us that are sponsored in the same line that attend this workshop, and we've gained so much here in these past 15 weeks. We meet with sponsees separately on every other Tuesday. And what we've done in the past is maybe practice and share how we've practiced spiritual principles. And starting on Tuesday next week, we are going to take them all through the book the way you've taken us through. So thank you so much that we get to pass this on the way you've just passed it to us.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Barb. That warms my heart because because it's a ripple effect that continues to go through all of us, right? That's beautiful. And I'm going to reiterate to our friends, believe you me, that real experience of depth and weight and joy and being present to God and love in this path, in this life, is coming as a result of passing this message on. It's coming, right? This was just the surface, this workshop. Thank you. Okay, Bray, come on up, Bray. Hi.
Hi, everyone. My name's Bray. I'm a recovered alcoholic. Super happy to be here. Ollie, I had the privilege of meeting you at NEFOTS in Portland. That was awesome. And we've spoken. I wanted to just say, been attending this workshop since the beginning and started working with a young woman in March. She picked up and drank, and then we started working again. Her sobriety date is April 11th. And on Friday afternoon, yesterday, she made her first amend, and she is on fire as well. It's amazing. It's given me a full-on jump start, and it's incredible. I flippin' love it. And I appreciate everyone on here. Thanks, guys.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Bray. And Bray gave me an envelope. I forgot to talk about it with the consideration that, that thing, the prayer in the resentment pages, I think 65, whenever it was, it's a resentment prayer. Some people call it sick man prayer. She had gone to a different workshop a while ago, and then the facilitator asked everyone to consider that prayer to be a forgiveness prayer. And that's interesting. And I have sat with that. I'd ask everyone else to sit with that too. It's a resentment prayer, forgiveness prayer. Very nice. Okay. Carol, come on up, please.
Good morning. Hi, I just really want to thank you and everyone else who worked so hard to put this together. And I wanted to say that, I have worked the steps many times in many different ways and always felt like it was so piecemeal, and I was never comfortable taking anyone else through the steps. I was scared, and this has given me a confidence that I've never had before. So I'm really looking forward to being able to carry this on. And I think the most powerful experience out of this for me is when we did the third step prayer together. I was moved to tears, and it reignited that flame in me. I still get emotional, sorry. My nickname's Crying Carol. Anyway, and then one last thing real quick. I just wondered if the Spirit ever moved you to go through the 12 and 12. And that's all I've got. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Carol, for being here. Because through the 12 and 12, what I do with the men that I sponsor, after we do this, we go through the traditions on the 12 and 12. And when life's gotten really busy, especially in the pandemic era, I sometimes either do the 12 and 12 traditions in a group of my sponsees, or I just ask them to look for a workshop. There's so many workshops for the traditions. In terms of the steps as outlined, the essays on the steps as outlined at 12 and 12, I've never been moved to do anything like this with it. I have read them. I enjoy some of the chapters. Yeah, it's a great tool in addition to the big book. But I've never been moved to it that way. But thank you so much. Marilyn, come on up, please.
Good morning, family. My name is Marilyn. I am alcoholic. And Ali, I just want to thank you for this opportunity. This was an amazing experience for me and my sponsors. I have two women, one that had relapsed, right? And she was having difficulty getting back in, right? Getting her rhythm going again, right? And I was so grateful that I was able to go along the journey with her as we were going along, which was just made it even better. But when I did that spiritual, like you said, the spiritual feast in the beginning, where we lay it out, the contract, and we do that beginning process, and then to get to page 20 to 23, I think we said the qualification intro, life-changing for her and for me. Because when I did the steps and went through the book with my sponsor, we did it the normal way, read all the pages, go. I didn't get the same experience because we were emphasizing on the powerlessness, how you took us through that, and where I highlighted it and the notes that I took. And as I was sharing them with her, I was growing, and I've seen her these last few weeks. Her life has absolutely changed. She feels empowered. She understands. She says, for the first time, I was able to look at my powerlessness. And I want to tell you, I'm so grateful for that. And I thank you for this workshop. It has changed my life. But I'm always trying to grow. That's all I want to do, is continue to grow. I'm aiming higher. I want to, be a better service, more useful. And this has given me that opportunity. And I thank you, Ali.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. God bless you. Thank you for sharing that. You are a seeker and a servant, my sister. Love it. Beautiful. Irina, come on up. Here we go. Can you unmute yourself now? There you go.
Am I there now? Okay, sorry about that. My name's Irina. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you. Just thank you. When this works to you and the team both, it is my belief that this was truly divinely inspired from my own experience. When this started towards the end of February, I was in one of the darkest places ever. And some of the verbiage that you used, and you said this a lot, as spirit moves. And that's terminology I needed to hear. And I made a comment, I think the first or second week, how I've studied spiritual direction and I've studied some of the spiritual teachers. And this workshop has helped me transform, it has transformed me. It's brought me from darkness back to light at 9 years sober. And I'm getting emotional because I know that it's divinely inspired, and I can accept that it's divinely inspired, because for the longest time, I was so angry at God for what had happened to me. And the verbiage that you use and the stories that others shared about their own traumas and traumatic experiences, and within the context of Alcoholics Anonymous and within the context of this framework, has just helped me understand this book on a different level. And you used also the term sacred text. It falls in line with all the sacred texts of the major religions, right? Because at the foundation, the message is the same. I've always said that the big book was written for someone like me, so I could finally get what I was raised with. Because I was raised on religion, and I didn't get it until I got here. I did not understand spirituality till I got to Alcoholics Anonymous. And it was Alcoholics Anonymous that helped me get inspired to further study other spiritual teachers. I mean, there were even a few things you said today that, and my first thought was, oh, Thomas Merton prayer. I don't know where I'm going, but the desire to please you does in fact please you. And I don't have to do it perfectly, and I can do it as spirit moves, and I don't have to be rigid. So this has been a transformative thing on a personal level for me, and has given me additional gifts. I've met some people around the country that I've been communicating with, which I never thought would happen. I thought I'd just keep my camera off and just, sit back here, and you haven't allowed me to do that from the time that I started coming into the Tuesday meeting somewhere along the way during COVID. And I happened to come across your workshop flyer, and it has given me a renewed faith, a renewed sense of faith in this, because I am seeing the little bits that come, just the little bits, the little signals. God's here, even within all of the trauma, and I'm seeing where that is going to be the gift to pass on to others. So thank you for a transformational experience.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Irina. Beautiful. He has called you. That's why the light. He's called you and you answered it. That's how it feels. For me, it has anyways. When I pick up the spiritual breadcrumbs that are dropped in front of me, as opposed to ignoring them, and I follow into an unknown, man, it's something. And he's got work for you to do.
Yeah.
That's why you're sharing right now. That's why you're sharing right now. Just like he asked for me. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Sally, come on up, Sally.
Hey, Ali.
Hi.
A few minutes late this morning. I'm gonna try and do this without crying too. So I've been around here for a long, long time. When I first came in, taking me through the book just never happened. So here's the book, read it, let me know how you are in a week. Somehow I did not drink. What I want to say, when I got here, I thought I was the devil's child. I came from a very violent, very sick, very sadistic home. And I absorbed all of this, and I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I thought, well, this is where I'm going to die. My mother was the most violent of the alcoholics, and when I discovered that I too was, I just wanted to die. I did not want to be like her. What I heard throughout the weeks from you, the level of honesty that you so willingly tell us about your experience, the level of intimacy has just allowed other people to do the same. I've heard them share things, and I'm in awe of. We come here because we're hurting so bad. And I did never believe that I would ever get sober, never mind sponsor people. Are you kidding? Right now, I'm taking someone from the beginning. I have your notes, your book. Here I am doing this. It's because there's no secrets. There's no secret. I don't have to pretend or hide. I can just put it on the table, whatever it is. Because it's part of my experience as a child of two alcoholics, growing up as an alcoholic, marrying an alcoholic, the whole thing, but it's part of life. Oh, this may sound really crazy. I just didn't know any of it. I just, anyway, I just can't thank you enough for who you are. And that God is definitely, this is definitely divinely inspired. No question. And the more you do it, the freer you get at telling us how it is. And it's sort of like walking, God is walking with you. You're not sitting in that square by yourself. I mean, I can feel the spirituality all around you. And I'm just so glad. And I might have missed what you said at the beginning because I missed a few minutes, but how do we get the recordings?
Thank you, Sally, for your kind words. I love you, my friend. So the recordings. So I'm going to post on our AA Facebook page by the end of the weekend. I'll post a folder of all the recordings, and then I will also ask Anissa to email it to our email list. If you're on the list of all of the folder of the recordings, I'll release that. And I appreciate you being here. And God shines through the cracks.
Oh,
If there are no cracks, there's no shining.
oh, I'm computer illiterate. I'm going to know how to do this in my next life, but in this one, it's not worked out too well. So I hope that I get to see it and don't miss it.
So
But
can I ask you, have you been receiving any emails from us in the last 15 weeks? Have you been able to access?
actually, no, I haven't.
No. Okay. So what
I
I'll do
know
is,
I registered, but no, I haven't.
okay. So Sally, would you do me a favor? You have sent me a Facebook message before. Are you okay with sending one?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Would you please, sometime this weekend, send me your email in that Facebook message and tell me, email me recordings.
Oh, okay. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
I'll email personally to you.
Love you to death.
Love you too. Thank you so
Come
much.
my way. Remember, you got to bring that little girl with you. Bring your children with you, not your,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
I just would love to see all of you.
You know what would be great? If you're able to come to our conference June 7 and 8, they're going to make a visit. So you'll come and see
Oh,
them.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, you know what? I wanted to talk to you about that. I'm having some mobility issues and I just didn't know if I could do it. I want to, but I'm not. So anyway, I'll talk to you.
Let's talk offline. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks
for
so
sure.
much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Thank you. Joel, come on up, brother, please.
Oh, thank you, Ali. Yeah, I just wanted to express so much gratitude for your influence personally in the Fellowship of the Spirit in my life. I know you guys came in about a year and a half ago when I was really struggling with this third step decision. I was just desperate and I was being propelled forward. And yeah, you taught me love and service, dependence on God, and it's changed everything for me today. I came into this workshop. I've been taking groups of people through back to basics and stuff like this, and I really wanted to learn a new method to bring about perhaps that identification that I'd had when I came in desperate. And I read that, especially that third step. It blew me away, and I knew that this book was talking about me, and that propelled me forward through these steps and these decisions. But yeah, I can't claim any success stories. I tried taking 3 guys through this, got them up to inventory, and they fell off. Started drinking again, and I really struggle with that mid workshop. I felt defeated, but as we move forward, I realized that my inventory in this whole thing was I was playing God, and I needed to let God be God and just love these men where they're at and stay consistent in their life. And so I have a lot of hope for that. But through that, I realized as well that God is God in my experience as well. And I started having a lot of peace. And as we've walked through this, I've learned how to be a better messenger, and I'm carrying this work into my home group. We run a little big book study that on Monday nights. I'm carrying it into the detoxes. And I'm seeing the power of that rippling out, and I'm just speaking unapologetically about the importance as well of just radical reliance on God, radical cleaning house, radical helping others. And I'm seeing that leaking out. And, you know, you've been that candle in the night for me. And I'm sure that that took a lot of burning. And, you know, I just, somebody mentioned the Thomas Merton prayer. I start my everyday like that. And, you know, and I realize it takes a lot of burning as we ask God to build with him as he would, and we set aside. But today, reading this final promise on page 100, I look back and I realize so many times, you know, so many times I worried about all the details in my life, and yet I just aspired to do this. And today it's amazing where my life is today. The path has been twisting and turning, but yeah, today it's I don't believe in God. I know that there's God, and I want to thank you personally, because you've been so beautiful in my life for that. So beautiful. So thank you so much for this experience. It's been life-changing for me.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your kindness. That's beautiful. It's beautiful what God does for us and through us and to us when we're just seeking, right? And just, you know, brother, you said I haven't had any success stories. And remember, the question wasn't, please put your hand up if you think you were successful. It's nothing to do with that, right, man? I just try, man, and God helps me grow. I grow closer to God, right? Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So for the friends who have now been mistook what I said to Sally and are sending me private messages of their emails, it's not possible for me to email each individual. It's just way too long. I cannot email you. So please, if we are going to email you, if you're on our email list, you would have in the last 15 weeks received emails. If not, check your junk mail, right? Every week you would have received emails. If you're on an email list, you will receive an email of the recordings. If you're on our Facebook page, I will post it there. Otherwise, I don't have the time or the ability to write down here. It won't happen. I'm just doing it for Sally because she's computer illiterate. She says she is. I don't believe she. I mean, I don't think she's a bad. That's so so that's that. If somebody asked, how do I join the Facebook page? So you can't find it because it's private. You know what? It's private and it's invisible. We made it like that, just try to keep as anonymous as we can. And guess what? Through being private and invisible, we grew in the last 4 years from 300 members to 11,700 members, just even through making it as hard as possible for people to find us. So you can't find us. The best way is to send me a message on Facebook. Just explain to me your friend the bills. You want to join that secret Facebook page. And then once I get that message from you, I'll accept your friendship and I'll add you. The reason why I need your friendship on Facebook is because it is a secret page. Facebook won't allow me to invite you unless you're on my friends list. So that's why, okay? Thank you guys. Okay. Michelle, go on up, please.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm an alcoholic. You know, Allie, I could just go back over my 49 years in recovery, and it's like, when I walked into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous in 1975, I always thought it was because I lived in a small area and they told me to buy a big book. I had a second edition big book. It looks like it's brand new because that's how much I read it. And for 10 years, I think it was mostly fellowship recovery. And I did find a 12-step and 12 tradition meeting, and I did go to that. And that's the first time I took the steps. And that was just through the 12 and 12, they did it. And I think, you know, and then after that 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, whatever it was, I started going to God as I understand, and meeting with my man who became my spiritual advisor. And he said when he knew he was living on borrowed time, and when he died, I was to keep that meeting going. I did for 20 years. And that part of my recovery was the real seeking part, that I began the seeking part. And then I came on, you know, I'm not going to go through every decade of my recovery, but when I got on Zoom, I really thought, I was embarrassed, to be honest with you, because I never heard 90%, not 90, maybe 50 to 60, maybe, I don't know, percent of what people were talking about. Because AA changed even when I was in, you know, rehabs came and you know, all different. I went through a lot of changes in Alcoholics Anonymous over those years. But anyway, long story short, when I got on Zoom, I was mortified. because ego was running the show, right? And then I started hearing people who had the same exact experiences I had from different areas of the world, the United States and across the world. But I have to tell you that I've taken many, many, many women through the steps. I'm taking 3 sponsees through it now that I've already taken through. Well, 2 of them I've already taken through the steps. They are getting so much out of it because one thing has been the common thing with the 3 of them is it's more personal. Asking those questions really, really impressed them. And it impressed me too. So I am beyond grateful because, it's like I've learned a lot over the years, but like this has really, really been amazing. And I really appreciate all your hard work and on the team. And I just want to say thank you. And I'm not going to make your little head puff up with the ego because you know how that happens. But I just want to thank you. And I just want you to know how much I love you. Thank you.
Sal, I love you too, my friend. You've been a blessing in the Step 11 meeting team and in my life as well. You don't know this, but I watch you and I look and I watch and see and learn how this program looks like when you're walking it. I might not have told you that, but I watch you. Yeah, thank you for being in my life. Appreciate you. Vinay, come on up, please.
I am Vinay. I'm very grateful member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Ali, I can't thank you and the team, the service team, enough for this this workshop. It's been mind blowing. It's been spiritually enlightening. I came into this workshop at a very challenging time. Both as a sponsor and as a sponsee, and what has transpired over the past 3 months has. The situation is still the same, but it's no longer a challenge. It was my perception that it was a challenge, and I realized I think in one of the very early sessions, there was somebody posted a prayer in the chat, and it's something to the effect that, it said, God, please don't remove this person or situation from my life until I have learned what they are here to teach me. My God. That was, I read that prayer and it was in the chat box. And in that instant, I knew why God had put me in this place. And I've grown from this and, tremendously. A lot of situations have happened in the past 3 months. I'm going to reach out to you personally on a couple of situations to ask your opinion. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say opinion, your experience. That's the wrong word, because, yeah, so hopefully, I can get some guidance on that if you have that experience. I've gone through, in fact, one of the funny things that has happened to me, I realized today, going through this was, I knew on an intellectual level where my self-will was clashing against God's will. And I knew that, and yet I was having such a struggle accepting that my self-will was getting in the way. And, I kept going back to my motives. I kept asking myself, am I being dishonest? I knew I was being dishonest, and yet I was unable to accept that. And something has happened that transpired through, and it's temporary. I know there have been times in my recovery where I've been in a very safe place, very good place, knowing God's will. But again, that self-will keeps coming back from time to time. And what this workshop has done for me, it has really given me a fresh perspective on surrender and on my own powerlessness. And the one, and this may come out the wrong way, but I got to tell you this. I know that, I'm at a point now where even as a sponsee, I think my sponsor, as grateful as I am to him for everything that he has done for me, it's time for me to maybe expand my horizon a little further and seek guidance elsewhere. And I've already informed him of that, and he's a very gentle soul, and he has, he's a sober individual. But I gotta tell you, man, this workshop has been just life-changing. I want to thank you so much. And oh, by the way, my wife used to attend or attends that effort, that Tuesday night meeting from time to time. And she's been telling me for the last couple of years, you got to go to this 11-step meeting. You got to go to this 11-step meeting. I'm a prejudiced alcoholic, man. I know everything that I did needs to be known about step 11. I don't want to go there. Because of this workshop, I finally came on that meeting this past week. And I gotta tell you, you had a wonderful speaker, and it was so humbling to listen to someone with so much experience in sobriety just come across in such a loving way. I'm humbled by this experience. Thank you so much for everything, Ali.
Thank you so much, brother. A lot of love to you. It was a pleasure meeting you. And thank you for the energy you injected into this workshop. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Looking forward to speaking with you. And we got two more, okay? And then I'm going to jump in the car, and then we'll continue in the car. Lorraine, before Lorraine comes up, just wanted the beautiful team that we have. Oh man, just this wouldn't have been possible without you guys. Frank and Kristen, who are not here, Kuna, who's not here, and obviously Lorraine and Becca and Mickey and Trish. I appreciate you guys, and so much love for you guys. Thank you so much for being here, for giving up your time and spirit, Thank you very much. I truly appreciate you guys. Okay, Lorraine, come on.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lorraine. I'm an alcoholic. First of all, just this has been such a powerful experience. I'll never forget the morning we all logged on here, and there was like 350 people. And I just got tears in my eyes, and I thought, this is how much this man is loved, is that 300 and something people showed up here to check out this workshop. And it's just been such a marvelous experience. I just, you let me be on the team because, I know you wanted to make me feel included because I'm new and I'm not struggling. I'm having a great time, but you just included me. And thank you for that. I really, being new, I'm working on, just wanting to be a part of so much. And you really helped me with that. Thank you. And, when I heard about this workshop, I had, knew it sponsoring and, just doing it. And I was getting these women and I was thinking, oh my God, she's going to drink. And so I was like going through the book and like doing, getting through the chapters and getting them to that 4th step and I felt like such a fraud. I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm not even reading the big book line by line like you're supposed to. And I thought, well, they're in their 4th step and I'm watching them change. How bad can it be? And then when you said you were going to do this, I thought, oh, it wasn't stupid. It was okay. It was okay to make another interpretation and to just get somebody to the work. So it just was like, because I struggle with that, what is an absurd idea or action, or what is truly an inspiration? Is it a working part of my mind yet, or am I crazy? I'm still learning so much. So anyway, this is amazing. And I told you, I'm so fortunate that one of the gals from the workshop here, who's got a lot more years of sobriety than me, we're just going to go through the book to practice. So we say, okay, before we take a new person through, we're just going to go through with everything we've learned and like check it out, see how we're doing. So anyway, I will so miss being here on Saturday mornings. I really, really will. I thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Lorraine. A lot of love to you. Thank you so much for everything that you did for the team, for the energy that you brought. I just want a couple of things. One is, how you said I'm still struggling with, and I hear you, eh? I'm still struggling with what's God's will, what's my will, am I absurd idea? Just like so here, what the gift has been for me? Where are you? I can't see. Oh, there you are. Okay. I stopped struggling. like I just stopped. Like what I mean is that whether it is or it isn't, okay, God doesn't make too hard. You know what I'm saying? All I gotta do is try my best to show up, right? I have certain things around me to help me decipher a little bit spiritually, which is the steps, the inventories around it, if I could do it, my sponsor, right? Prayer, meditation. But at the end of it, just to the extent that I do as God, as I think he would have me do, does he match calamity with serenity in my heart. Not just to the extent that I know and I'm perfectly doing his will, just to the extent that I think he would have me. He doesn't make too hard terms. So if you want to, so me too. I'm not 100% sure every single time if this is my ego or God, but you know what? I stopped struggling with it because he doesn't make too hard terms. I'm just trying. I'm just trying. A lot of love to you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Lisa P, last person before we end the official meeting and join the after meeting.
I feel a little intimidated being the last person, but I felt so moved to just thank you, Ali, for everything that you have brought, for the kindness and love that you've continued to show through all of these weeks. You know, I feel like I hopefully will have become a little bit of a better sponsor, but really about a better person and a better wife and a better mother and a better just kind of everything. You know, you said today about being seekers trying to become better messengers. And I can tell you from the bottom of my heart that you have made me a better messenger. And for that, I am incredibly grateful. And I have a little sticky program on my big screen. And I have one in the upper left from the first time you ever said, God doesn't make too hard terms. And I keep reminding myself of that, Ali, because I am so good at the stories that I create for myself every minute. And I'm so good at complicating all this and putting all this stuff on top of everything. But I've got that blue sticky up in the upper left-hand corner of my screen that says, God doesn't make too hard terms. And it reminds me of what's important. And you also said that, and I'm just going to end on this. You know, I used to always believe that the Dalai Lama told us the purpose of life was to be happy. And I clung to that. I've clung to that my whole life. And that's a good thing to cling to. But you reminded me that the purpose of my life is to become more useful, not to be happy. And that has really stuck with me and is deep, deep, deep in my heart. So for all of those things, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I know we will continue to see each other, and very, very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. What a perfect share. What a perfect way to end this. The poet Rumi says, only from the heart you can touch the sky. There's no other way. God bless you guys. I love you guys.